Greetings, Internet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Synergy Cafe online show, featuring speaker, entertainer, close-up illusionist, and marketing alchemist, MagicBrad. It's the Internet lifestyle show about career, finance, relationships, spirituality, and wellness. We're moving the online chatter over to real-life activity. And now, please welcome your host of Synergy Cafe, MagicBrad.
Hey, Internet friends, it's me, your friend, Bradley G, the man, the myth, the legend in my own mind. And guess what? We're going to be talking about magic today, and not just the regular magic. We're going to talk a little bit of this magic and a little bit of that magic. Going both ways down two alleys. That's what Synergy is all about. So I hope you're prepared for this, because this is going to be unusual. I found a friend on the StreamYard collab thing, and you know me, I'm all about collaboration, the Synergy Collaborative. I'm all about synergy. I'm all about magic and perceived reality. And he's here. He's somewhere in the back room in the green room. I told him he could enjoy some of our digital hors d'oeuvres back there, and we had some mood-altering substances. If you participated in that, I don't know. Okay, so let's bring him on. His name is George, and the last name is Monty. So welcome the full Monty. George, how you doing, George?
Brad, I'm living the dream. Thank you for having me here today. You know, when I start something like this, I like to begin with a quote. And the quote I chose for today is this: "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." So that being said, my friend, I'm stoked to be here today. I'm ready to talk about magic, man. All kinds of it, perception, ideas.
Like bloom where you're planted, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think what happens to all of us is that we get stuck in this pattern of being, whether it's whatever label you are. Maybe you're a marketer, maybe you're a truck driver, maybe you're a doctor, a lawyer, a brother, or sister, but we get caught up in these ideas. And I look at them as patterns. Like, we see ourselves as a pattern. People around us look at us as a pattern. And if you don't get out of that pattern, you get stuck in that pattern.
Oh, totally. I mean, most people, right, they go to school. Like Robert Kiyosaki says, you go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job. You do get in that rhythm, and you start. They ring that bell, and you go to the next class, and they ring that bell, and you get accustomed to this. When they ring the bell, you go to school. When they ring the bell, you get out of school, and then when they ring the bell, you go to the job, and you punch the clock, and you get into that thing, and then you go to these business events and say, "So what do you do?" And I usually say, I don't. I'm more of a being than a human doing. And people look at that as being smarmy and sarcastic and all that, but it's kind of true to me. It's like, I don't know what I am. You can't put me in this little box. I do magic tricks, and sometimes I create miracles. Now, am I a magician or a shaman, or am I a trickster or Cocapelli kind of thing? Well, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. When I think about school and education and patterns, I think of conditioning. There was a scientist back in the day named Pavlov, and he took these dogs, and what he would do is he would train these dogs by blowing a whistle and then feeding them food. You got the bell right there. Well, that's kind of magic too, right? Like the same way we condition those dogs, we condition kids all the way through school, or ourselves. And the same way, I'm willing to bet you condition an audience when you're doing magic, right? There's probably a certain set of things that you do to get people in the right area so that you can begin getting them to see the things you want. Is that true?
Well, it's a matter of walking them down the path.
Okay.
And they go down that path, and then you show them reality. So if I took them down a path of illusion, where they saw me take a coin and put it into my hand, and I really didn't put it in my hand, but I showed them the path, and they thought, oh yeah, you put it in his hand. Now all you got to do is open your hand and show reality.
Right.
The coin's not there, and it appears to be magic because you walk them down the path of the coin going in the hand. So absolutely, you take them down that what did you call them?
Pavlovian dogs?
No, I mean the pattern.
No. Patterns.
Yeah, the pattern. You take them to the pattern, and that's why adults are easier to fool than, or kids are easier to fool than adults, because they haven't been I take that back. Adults are easier to fool than kids because kids have not been programmed yet. Whereas the adult is programmed, oh, if he does those gestures with his hands and he tosses the coin into his hand, that's what he did. Whereas the kid sees it disappears and goes, well, where'd it go? It's probably in this hand. When they look for it.
Yeah.
But adult just kind of assumes that I did what I said I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I spent I spent a lot of my life, like 26 years as a UPS driver, and I would take some magic tricks with me. And I had the old proverbial fake thumb that you would put a fake thumb on, and then oh, sorry about that. Spoiler alert, everybody.
Everybody knows about the
the
thumb.
fake thumb. And so you put it in here, and then you put whatever you want to disappear in there, and then you put that back on, and you put your fake thumb back on, and the thing is gone. And I remember I showed this. There was a little girl, beautiful little girl. I loved all the kids on my route and the people. And the little girl and her dad were out there, and I did the magic trick in front of the girl, and she was like, wow. But the dad was like, you could see the look on his face. And for a moment, you got to see the innocence and the beauty and the magic in the face of both of them for a little bit. So yeah, I love the idea of using magic or using techniques or patterns to not really trick people, but to get them in a position where you can begin to see the way they think.
Yeah, what goes to my mind, like I was talking to my wife a little bit about this morning, how people have different beliefs, whether it be Christians or atheists.
Right.
Got those two, and some of the Christian. Oh,
I'll be right back, Pat. I got a real problem.
Hey, taking care of the problem. So he's got to run and take care of a problem that came up, and we know how to improvise on stuff like that. So hopefully I won't be doing this whole half hour by myself, but it might happen. So what I was talking about, let me shift this over so it doesn't look like you're looking at an empty chair there. Get this over to me. How do we do this? 1 second here, 1 second. Not sure how to do this. I apologize. Let me see here. Trying to get me on the screen here. Well, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know how to do that. So, he's back already. That was quick.
Brad, I'm so sorry. My daughter's sick upstairs, man. I gotta handle this, man. I apologize. I will be back probably the following Monday or the Monday after that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really apologize for this.
We understand.
I understand. Okay, thank you so much. Aloha.
Okay, so that was a shock, wasn't it? Anyways, we're going to be rekindling this stuff, and all these things happen for a reason. There must be something else, I think, on a higher level that's going on here. He's got a daughter that got sick, so I got to take care of emergencies first. But that's the essence of what all this stuff is. I've been doing magic since I was a little kid, and I remember the time that it happened. A friend of my brother's made a quarter disappear, and it was gone, and then he pulled it out of my ear. And I was fascinated by it, and that's what got me into the magic. And all these years, this happened when I was like about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. And I got into this magic thing, and it was just interesting how my brain developed being somewhat skeptical of certain things and wanting to find the truth. So it developed a different way than someone else that might have gone a path of, say, we're going to teach you how to play the piano. You're going to take piano lessons, and you get into that, and then you go to school, and then you go to Juilliard, and you start being a concert pianist. That'll take a person a different route. But mine went the route of learning magic tricks and entertaining at corporate events and association conventions and fairs and festivals and city celebrations and private parties and all these things. So my brain developed a little bit differently than a person would have taken another path. At any rate, I don't have a lot to share with you because I don't have a guest to talk with. So I'm going to sign this off, and we'll reconnect with George probably on another Monday. We're looking at doing these every other Monday. That's how it's going to be. But we don't know how it's going to all turn out here because of the universe came down and changed our ways. So that's all I got for you now. If you want to know more about George, his podcast is truelifepodcast.media. That's right there, truelifepodcast.media. And if you want to know more about me, let me find my little link. Dun, 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 dun. This is MagicBrad.com is where I store a lot of stuff that comes into my head. I've got a lot of different projects in the event industry, outside the event industry, just different conceptual things, ideas, and things of that sort. So that's all I got for you now. Peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Peace.